What a great honor. As I look out at all of you, and I know all the great people that have been associated with WSDP over 45 years, and for someone to consider that perhaps I can even come close to being deserving of this kind of honor, it's very humbling. So I want to thank Bill, I want to thank everyone affiliated with this. I will tell you that I feel WSDP, like many of you, gave me the opportunity. I went right to Michigan State University. I remember John Seidelman, who also was like another father to me. I remember preparing my audition tapes, sending them up to every radio station in the Lansing area. John Seidelman and Jeff Cardinal said, "You can do this." So I put the audition tape together, and shortly before I went to Michigan State, I received a phone call from WKAR in their sports department, and they wanted to hire a student to be in their sports department, which involved radio and television, one student. So here I was given the opportunity as a freshman to be the only student at a professional radio and TV station at Michigan State University. That would not have happened without WSDP. I went on and worked there. I did sports, did all kinds of morning shows, afternoon shows. I was fortunate to interview the Judd Heathcotes and the Magic Johnsons, and I didn't realize just how fortunate I was, to be quite honest. But my senior year at Michigan State University, what happened is my boss, who had been at WKR for a long time, Jim Adams, was told that he was no longer needed as the voice of Michigan State sports. Michigan State was growing so fast and so popular that a lot of commercial entities were coming in and competing for that work. And so my boss, Jim Adams, was told that he was no longer needed as a play-by-play person. That was my senior year at Michigan State. That left a very bad taste in my mouth. And even though I had great experiences and I just decided, you know what, maybe I need to go in a different direction. I was pretty upset and frustrated. I started to work for the Detroit Pistons in a sales capacity, making $50 a week. Kelly Tripucka, Isaiah Thomas had just started with the organization. They were just starting to turn things around. I had to live at home with my parents. I had to drive from my house all the way up to the Silver Dome at the time, and really was wondering, what are you doing with your life? I mean, what is this? I mean, it sounded impressive. You know, I was working for the Pistons, but I had a desk about this big, and I had 3 other people in the room with me, and I was making 100 phone calls a day. And I'm thinking, you know, for 10% commission and $50 a week, I mean, that just makes no sense. So John Seidelman called me. I came back to WSDP, and I will tell you, those years were absolutely incredible. If you were at WSDP from the fall of 1982 through the spring of 1987, if you served at that time when I was station manager, would you mind standing just for a second, please? Look at that. Look at that. Thank you very much. This award is really your award. It's not my award. You are so talented. I was blessed to be able to be a part of your life. Every day I would come to school, and it would be exciting because I'd have this opportunity to be around these great people. I mean, what a great honor that was for me. And if I had at all an impact on you in any way, that's outstanding, but I'm telling you, your success is yours. You brought it to the table every day. You did tremendous things while you were there as part of that. I mean, just coming back tonight and being able to revisit, it was almost like we've never been apart. And that is an incredible testimony, I think, to the importance of relationships. And, you know, I could talk all night, you don't want me to. So, but My wife is back there. My wife Carla is here, and she's been a tremendous influence. Tim McGuire is back there. He's telling me to wrap up. It's time to wrap up. Not quite to that point, though. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, a lot of people stayed in broadcasting in some capacity, and many of us have moved on to other things. But the skills that WSDP provided to us, the ability to read, and to write, and to speak, and to listen, and to be able to establish relationships with one another has been invaluable. It's definitely been priceless. And WSDP, I was lucky to be here as a student. I was incredibly honored to be a station manager. To have an award as a distinguished alumnus is something that's very humbling for me. And Bill Keith, you were one of my students. And the fact that you have now been in that role as station manager, there have been a lot of great people that have come through there, but you've been a rock. You've been a rock for this station, and Bill Keith deserves a lot of credit. So thank you for the first 45 years, and I also look forward to the 50th anniversary. Thank you.
This past spring, we presented the first Dr. Andrew Melon Distinguished Alumni Award at our annual banquet that we have for our students. Our first honoree was June Kiercutter. June was an obvious choice for the award. She's been successful in her career, helping businesses with communication, including founding her own company, the Juniper Group. June continues to give back to the station. Remember, we had her speak to our first group of students that were getting letters and radio. It was such an honor to have her come back from Chicago for this small speaking opportunity, but she just jumped at it because of the impact of the radio station. She was also one of the first people I thought of when we were starting an advisory group back in 2011, and she served on it ever since. She's also a driving force behind our vinyl recall exhibit that opened last night at the Plymouth Arts and Recreation Complex. And it wouldn't exist without the energy and the passion that she's brought to it. June has been incredibly generous with her time and financial gifts to the station, and we're honored that June is the first recipient of the Dr. Andrew Mellon Distinguished Alumni Award, and I'd like to have June come up and say a few words. As she mentioned too, we have this lovely plaque that I have a copy for June, but we have it just as of Friday. It's hanging on the wall outside of our studio. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Andy. It was a super surprise for me in May. The students that are here probably recall my reaction, which was, what? So thank you both for this recognition. I really appreciate it. In listening to everyone's comments earlier this evening, one of the common threads that I've heard is 50 years. And a couple of things I think will get us to 50 years. Hopefully, Bill, you're here for a few more years. Certainly the wonderful leadership that we've had at the station through our station managers like Bill will help us to get there. The support of this community, the Plymouth Canton community, the taxpayers, and I think we have a couple, if not one, couple members of our school board here. Their support over the years from the very beginning and the continuing of that support for 45 years and hopefully into 50 and beyond is really important. So thank you, those who are representing the greater community here. And the third component to that are our students. And so I'm happy that we have a number of our student staff members here. We haven't recognized them, but if you're, I know some of them maybe left, but thank you for, Rebecca, I can see that you're here. Fiona, I can see that you're here. Seraphine, Sam, Max, Yes, so we have,